Welcome to the Free Game Don D podcast, life, family, and business. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's right.
Yeah. So today, I have this young lady that I'm chopping it up with, Mykel Doe. Mykel Doe is the COO of Family Financial Consultants. Who is Mykel Doe? Ms. Mykel, who are you? I'm just saying.
I swear.
Who is this woman?
You work my nerve.
You work my nerves.
That's fine. So Mykel Doe is an only child of Deborah Walker now.
Why are you giving out all your mom?
Thomas
Your mama might
McKinney.
not want her information out here like that.
I mean, I'm about to talk about her, so I might as well let people know her name.
I'm sorry, mama.
Whatever. But I was raised by my grandmother, so I consider myself a child of Margaret Pickens as well.
Okay. I feel like we just went to a dark area.
Didn't want to go to no dark area. How is that dark?
I don't know. It just
How my grandmother came through for me when my
little-
parents wanted to be in the streets.
like a little transition there. I don't know. Just
You asked who I was. That's who I am.
yeah, I did. Who's Mykel though?
Yeah.
So where you from, Mykel?
Queens, New York.
You don't even talk that way no more. Look at you.
Yes, I do.
One thing about New Yorkers, as soon as you ask them where they from, like you've been down south for 20 years, but you're like Queens, New York.
Yeah.
Like, I understand. Like, come on, man.
I mean,
No, I don't. I don't.
come on, son.
Come on, son.
Come on, son. Yeah. No, but no, I've lost it. I don't have the New York twang.
Yeah, shout out to you,
anymore.
man. Because when I met you, you had on Timberlands. I was like,
I sure enough did.
Jesus Christ.
And I still want another pair of Timbs. Don't play with it.
We're not doing that, man.
Don't play with it.
We're not doing that.
I'm gonna get me another pair. Give me the mustards.
So in New York, y'all say mustard.
Yeah.
Mustard Timbs.
Yellow Timbs, mustard Timbs. I like mustard.
See, like it's like now that I asked you where you're from, you said Queens, New York, and it's nice. It's been a whole New York accent ever since you said that.
I mean, because we represent where we from. You know what I'm saying? I'm from Georgia too. Like I've been here long enough.
Yeah.
So it'll come back. But that's who I am. You ask me who I am. That's who I am.
Okay. So you're from New York.
Yes.
And that's where you're born and raised, and you were raised by your grandmother. So what was that like, being raised by your grandmother?
Actually, it was pretty cool. I think a lot of times parents, and since we're grandparents now, I get it. I didn't get it before, but parents would be like, you let them get away with everything. Like I couldn't do that growing up in that house, but you let her get away with everything. And I really didn't get away with everything, but she was definitely more lenient on me.
Okay.
In retrospect, I didn't know it at the time.
So grandma was more lenient than your parents?
I mean, my parents wasn't around, so there wasn't really no level of leniency there.
I don't know why I'm laughing, because that's not funny, but it's just
they wasn't there. They was real lenient then, if that was the case. Sure.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm sorry, mama.
What's with the pause?
I
mean, they good people. They in my life now, but they
people.
wasn't in my life at that time like they should have been. They weren't parents.
Okay.
They were people.
So let's get back on track.
Okay.
So they were not parents, they were people.
Yeah,
All right, let me just stay
people.
focused.
They were people in my life.
So grandma raised you, and so she was somewhat, you said she was kind of lenient to some degree, because
Yeah, grandma was lenient. Like, I think what it is, people, when they think about their parents and let's say they do something wrong, the thing that they immediately think of, I got whoopings. I got whooped for doing this and that. I didn't get whoopings from my grandmother.
It shows.
I didn't get whoopings from my grandmother. She talked to me. If I did something wrong, she sat me down and explained to me why it was wrong.
No, real quick. You say you didn't get whoopings. Grandma always talked to you. So
yeah.
Is that where you get all the talking from?
You mean how when I talk to
like when you
our
talk,
children?
Yeah, when you talk to me, it's like you just be talking all the time. I just want to kind of figure out the origins of the talking.
This not going.
Okay, all right,
well.
let's get
This is not
let's get
going
back
well.
on track. I'm sorry.
But that is where I got that. She is who I got that from in terms of explaining why something was not the way it should have been. explaining your mistake, having a conversation with you about it. Now, I still got punished. I just didn't get whoopings, but I
Oh,
still got punished.
okay. I mean, shout out to you, man. I think as a young black, you know, when I was a young black kid, I would have loved to have grown up in a white household like you. I mean,
My grandmother's not white. My grandmother's not
see,
white. She's
you're
black.
going to timeouts and stuff, man.
I didn't have
Oh, you didn't go to
timeouts.
timeout?
No,
You sure?
no.
It sounded like you did.
I didn't have
Okay.
timeouts.
So they just let you do
She
this.
explained to me why I was in trouble, and then she let me know that I was fixing to get punished. And
Mm.
sometimes I wouldn't get punished till like 2 months later. She would wait till something
Wow.
really meant something to me, like a sweet 16 or something like that. And my grandmother would take me, go find the dress, get my hair done, everything. I'd be ready for the party. She would take me to the party with the gift, tell me to give the person the gift, and then make the announcement that I'm on punishment. So I have to come back home.
Grandma was a gangster.
Yeah, she was. She was. And that stuck with me. And I did that to
Yeah, you
our
did.
youngest,
No, you did.
to our
You
youngest
absolutely-
daughter.
you
Sure
absolutely
did.
Yeah. Shout out to you, man, because that's what it is, because like kids like me who got beatings, we see kids like you that were raised, you know, we were raised properly.
Here we go. Here we
like,
go.
like we be hating, you know what I'm saying? So you want all the kids to get beat the way you got beat and have that same trauma that you had to deal with. But shout out to you, man. You didn't have to deal with the trauma of beatings. I mean, so
I mean, I got whooped though by my mom and my dad.
yeah, but you already said it didn't count because they were just people.
Well, yeah, but it still hurt my feelings,
It did? Okay.
I still was traumatized by it because it's like, how you just gonna come around just to whoop me? You're back in my life just to whoop me? And now you're going?
This is
Stay
bad.
going.
Stay
I'm sorry. Oh. That's funny. Y'all gotta admit, that's funny. That's funny. All my life I had to fight.
Oh, Mykel, I ain't messing with you.
Okay.
So
Okay.
your mom and dad wasn't in your life except for when it was time.
It's time to whoop me.
Okay. Oh, let's get back on track. Oh God.
Oh, I am crying over
All
here.
right, we good.
Oh,
All right,
my
so shout out to mom and dad, man. At least they were around for that. What I'm just saying.
it's a milestone of my childhood. Yeah.
I'm just trying to make sure we,
Oh,
give everybody their flowers.
Oh gosh.
Oh God.
Okay, listen. Okay, so let's get serious.
Yeah.
Let's get
We are serious.
I mean, we gonna
That's the
we gonna
problem.
continue to laugh at the pain because that's growth, right? Because at one point this was not funny, right? So I do appreciate the fact that I can make jokes and laugh about it. But honestly, I was a child of the 70s. Not that that makes an excuse, but anyone that was born in the 70s, that the scenario should sound familiar to them. That was the years where the grandmothers were stepping in. If you had a grandmother that was willing to step up and take control, the grandmothers took over and they took care of the children. So, my mom and dad, there was nothing wrong with them, so to speak. They were just living their life. They were young, they were living their life. And usually when that happens, if you get someone that's willing to take responsibility from you, you'll embrace it. And so that's what happened. They were living their life, they were making their own choices, and I wasn't, at least I feel, I wasn't the top priority in the choices that they were making.
Yeah, no, shout out to you because I think that sometimes even parents don't always realize like you have a certain perception of these periods in your life, and so do your children.
Mhm.
Your children have a perception too, and you know their perception is going to matter as it pertains to you being
Yeah,
taken care of.
exactly.
I'm just saying.
So if you call people, don't get mad because you called people.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah. I know.
but
Yeah,
no.
yeah, but shout out to you though, man. I mean, because you've since, of course, given grace to both of your parents.
Oh yeah.
You guys have a phenomenal relationship. So, but growing up with grandma, so what was that like? Like I know we talked before. about culture and just
Oh,
some of that,
yeah.
some of those experience.
Yeah, growing up with grandma it was very cultured. Now that I'm an adult and I understand what that means, it was very cultured. Other people's summer break or Christmas break, they talk about, especially for the summer, they went to Six Flags, something like that. I'm over here talking about how we went we went to plays. Oh, I saw Cats. I saw Phantom of the Opera. I saw Sarafina. I saw Starlight Express. All of the Broadway plays. Um, Even there was one year for spring break, we did a trip across the United States, like literally from New York to California and back, like stopping in between. So I went to Disney in Florida and Disney in California. Six Flags in Chicago, which was interesting. Definitely not like my Six Flags that we have in Jersey, but it was an experience. So I come back to stand in front of the room to say what I did. And everybody else got applause. Oh, great. You went to Six Flags. That's great. Oh, y'all went to Jones Beach. That's great. And then, Far Rockaway. That's great. Then I get up there and say what I did, and it's crickets. They looking at me like, okay, you think you all that type of thing. And it's
You
like,
better
nah,
than this.
that's just what my grandmother did with me. So I was exposed to other things in life that I think probably my parents, if they were taking care of me, they wouldn't have known to expose me to that.
Mm.
My parents, like my father, he would take us to the circus. So I did know that when the circus came in town, it sounds so bad. I knew that when the circus came in town, I
Your
was going
daddy
to see
came
my
in town.
dad.
Your daddy came in town with the circus. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, no, no. But basically, when the circus came in
That's
town,
what
I
I'm
knew I was going to see my daddy, because he was going to take me. And I have a half sister and brother. He was going to take us to the circus. So I'm trying to make this go straight. This just going to go left. But yeah, so like, that's what parents thought. Oh, taking the kids to the circus, taking them to
Mm.
the zoo, taking them to the amusement park. Like that's what you do as a
That's spending
parent.
time.
Whereas my grandmother was taking me out of the state. She was taking me to plays within New York City. She was taking me to museums, the Museum of Natural History. We went every year. The Black History Museum, the planetarium, like things that
Things that
probably
what?
parents young parents don't think about because they
Right,
don't know
right, right.
the importance of broadening that child's mind at the time where it's truly a sponge. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, you told me you went to the planetarium as a child. I didn't even know what that was, and so shout out to you for breaking that down to me. Clearly, yeah, yeah, I wasn't cultured, which is okay. I mean, I think all parents do the best that they can with
I think it turned out pretty good,
yeah. I mean,
despite
despite what?
despite. Let me stop. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but so you were raised with grandma, well,
Mhm.
by grandma rather,
Yes.
which explains a lot of things. You know, just about the way you handle stuff. Just more thought out. I think older parents make better parents. You know what I'm saying? As I'm looking at even me, like the father that I am to Donald is not the same father that I was to Lacey and Galen. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So, um, so shout out to grandma, man. So you didn't
Yes.
so grandma talked to you. Shout out to see the older you are, I think, and the more mature you start looking at long term, what's really gonna hurt. Oh, a spanking is not really gonna hurt the child. But if I have her thinking she's going somewhere and then get her all dressed up and then kind of find out she's not going, she's never gonna forget. She'll forget that woman, but
Yeah.
she won't forget how this made her feel.
I still to this day remember how they made me feel. I felt so played. So played. I got the gift, the dress I wanted, my hair is done, and I get there, and then she says, "Oh, well, yeah, we've got to go because Mykel's on punishment. We just want to make sure you got your present. Enjoy your sweet 16." And I got to leave,
Wow.
all dressed up, no place to go, you know?
Yeah, that's crazy. So going to your childhood also, so you went to private school, right?
Yes, I did. I went to public school for kindergarten through sixth grade, And then for middle school, I went to a private school. And then for high school, I went to an all girls private school.
Yeah. So what was that like?
Might as well have been in co-ed school. I mean, honestly, it really wasn't bad though. I hated the uniforms because I was about this big. So I felt dumb, with my little skinny legs out. So I hated the uniform. But in a way, I liked it because I was still able to concentrate on my education. It's us girls there, especially with high school. That worked out good because I was able to concentrate on my education. But we had the boys before school and the boys after school, so
Mm,
you really didn't miss anything. You
mhm.
still had ways of getting into mischief.
Yeah. So you grew up in New York. You went to Catholic school, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm not even Catholic,
Yeah, I
so
understand.
that was interesting.
Apparently, that's a thing. So,
Yeah,
so you
yeah.
went to Catholic school, and so you did eventually go off to college too, right?
Yes, yes, I did go off to college. So the other reason why I went to the all girls Catholic school was because at that time it was s- known or stated that if you graduate from this school, you pretty much have your choice of colleges that you can go to. So it was a great school academically. The classroom sizes were smaller. So of course, when I needed help, and I needed a lot of help, me and math don't get along. And so I needed a lot of help in some subjects. But in a classroom of 10 people, you can help people.
Mm,
But in public school, of course, the classrooms were bigger. So sometimes you could get lost. And I think that's the reason why my grandmother made the switch after elementary school to say, I'm going to, go ahead and sacrifice and try to invest in putting her here where at least I know she'll have a like maybe more of a fighting chance.
mm,
So graduating from it was Mary Lewis Academy. Graduating from the Mary Lewis Academy, I pretty much applied to 5 colleges and got a scholarship, a fine art scholarship because I like drawing. I got a fine art scholarship to 3 of my 3 out of the 5 choices, a full
mm.
scholarship.
Yeah. So after college, what was college like?
Oh, child. I only did 2 semesters. That's a shame. So I had a full scholarship, but I only made it 2 semesters because it was only maybe about an hour and 45 minutes away from home, but I had nobody to look after me. I had nobody to tell me, "Go to bed." I had nobody to tell me, "No, you don't need to go to that party," and things like that. So I had no structure, and I realized I needed structure. So instead of failing out of school, I just told my grandmother, "Hey, I'm gonna come back, but this time I'm gonna find a job. I'm gonna work for a year, and I'm gonna pay my way through college since I messed up this time." And she
Mm,
was like, "Okay."
wow. Yeah. Shout out to grandma, man. She really had you on the right path. So, after getting out of college, because I know you eventually did get your degree.
Yes,
Um,
and not in fine arts, in
yeah.
computers. I
Right.
discovered a love
So,
of computers, so
so how do you go
networking.
from art to computers?
Well, while being away at school, I was introduced to graphic design. And that was part of the art program, so I would draw the characters, but through computers, I could actually make it, like the games. And so I decided, well, I wanna be a game designer, a video game designer. So that's what got me into computers. But then when I realized there was a whole bunch of math in that, then I said, "Yeah, let me just stick with understanding computers and learning how to build them. I don't have to be a programmer."
Mm,
And so that's what I did. I learned how to build them and network them, and learned a couple of computer languages that went in one ear and out the other, because there was money at that time in computer repair. So
mm.
help desk work, stuff like
So
that. So that's what I did.
I guess looking back on it now, you probably like, I should have gotten into programming.
I tried to. So, okay, so the first degree, I got my associates in network system administration. And then fast forward to when that's in New York. Fast forward to when I'm living here in Augusta, I went back to school and that was what I want. I was like, I'm gonna be a programmer. But like I told you, me and math don't get along. I can balance the checkbook add, subtract, multiply, and divide. But anything above that formulas, nah, that's not me. And that's what programming. You have to be able to forward think. You have to actually be able to come up with the total and then figure out what the equation was to get there. That's not me.
Wow.
Nah.
Yeah, no, that definitely sounds, that sounds
You probably would be a great programmer because you're good at math. But me, mm-mm.
yeah,
Nope.
yeah. So you brought up Augusta. So how did you get to Augusta?
Okay, so my grandmother is originally from Augusta, Georgia. She grew up on Pine Street, right off of Laney Walker, and she raised me. So then, basically, well, I call myself falling in love. I met this guy on Black Planet, and we talked for like a year or two, back and forth, visit each other, and then I decided, oh, well, I'm in love. I'm just gonna pick up my whole life and come where you are, which that
How
was
old were you?
dumb.
How old were you at that time?
21.
Yeah, because I think people listen to this, like 21, I'm in love.
Yeah,
And
21. I thought he was it. Okay, so moved to Michigan from New York, moved to Michigan, and he was not it. Didn't work. He had an issue with cheating. So basically, the short story is he was like, well, it's because I know too many people here. Let's move to Colorado where my sister is. Okay, we moved to Colorado. It's even more rampant. So now I realize the problem is not the area. The problem is you. You just don't know how to keep it in your pants. So I wound up leaving, came home, and that's when my grandmother was basically like, I'm ready to, I think I want to move to either Florida or Georgia. She just didn't feel safe in New York any longer. Being an older person, people may prey on you. And so she just didn't feel safe in New York anymore. So I said, okay, well, let's try to buy your childhood home. We can do that. So we came, that was what, 2002. We came to Augusta, went to try to, went to the city to try to find out how to purchase her home, and come to find out it was already purchased. They were
Mhm.
regentrifying. I know I'm saying that wrong, but regentrifying the area. And so the someone or the city had already bought that whole street on Pine Street, and they were knocking the homes down and rebuilding them, but still keeping them as historic homes. And so it was already belonging to somebody else. We tried to get with the company to try to buy them out. They were like, no. But the funny thing is, we did move her here. She wound up finding um, a townhome community further down the block of Laney Walker that she fell in love with. So she wound up moving there when we realized we couldn't get the house. Um, and that's what brought me here, because moved her here, got her settled in '03, went back. I said, let me just make some New York money to bring along with me, and I'll move, the next year. But I was staying with a friend of hers trying to help care for her, and her friend died. And I was at
And
work.
you were staying with a friend in New York. So you were still in New York
Yes.
at the time.
I was still in New York, and I was staying with her friend in New York caring for her, but I had left to go to work. And when I came home, she had passed. She had fallen in the home and she had hit her head, and she had passed. And I immediately thought of my grandmother, like, you're all the way in Georgia, you're at the home by yourself, there's stairs in the house. I just went panic mode. So I called her and I said, I let her know, what happened. But I said, after, her funeral, I'm gonna pack up and I'm coming to Georgia to take care of you, because I can't imagine that happening. And so that's what I did. So in 2004, I moved here to take care of her.
So so you moved to Georgia and you're taking care of grandma, which I think is speaks a lot to the person that you are, because now grandma raised you, but now I think we talked about this once before. Like now you're raising her.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, not it's not the same, but it's the you're taking care of her. You're taking care of the
Mhm.
person that took care of you. And so, what was that like?
It was interesting, because I always knew my grandmother to be someone that could take care of herself and hold her own. And then, of course, me, what am I, maybe 27, 28 by this time. I'm still trying to find myself. I'm trying to figure out, because of course in my head, I'm gonna come here to take care of you. But once I settle, I'm settling in Atlanta.
Right.
I'm not settling in slow Augusta at the time. Like I was just like, everything moves slow here. So in my mind, it was like, I'm going to basically be here half the month, and then maybe, on the weekends go back to Atlanta and then come back on Monday, things like that. I thought I was going to be able to do that. Um, but quite honestly, I grew to love Augusta and what was going on there, and being there for her. So I didn't feel like I could leave her. Um, and then I also got a job. So that made me kind of have to be firmly planted. But I learned a lot from her, um, on how to become a woman. Uh, I still made mistakes, still made mistakes, but I think it was easier to get over those mistakes because I had her.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you're in Augusta now,
Hmm.
and you got a job in your field.
Yes.
You're taking care of grandma,
Hmm.
and so let's go back to Atlanta because for some reason people always had this mentality. I'm gonna move to Atlanta, and it's just everything just gonna just
Hmm.
just be perfect for me when I move to Atlanta. Um, so what was the reason for wanting to move to Atlanta? Is because it was a bigger city?
Because it was like New York.
Okay,
So
I
I
got
was
you.
kind of used to the hustle and bustle. I just felt like Augusta was too slow.
No, I got you. So now you're working and settling in. So what was life like for you after that? Like, dating Augusta, like
Oh my God. Okay. This is when you come to realize you're the problem. So, I did date a few people and it just didn't work out. But here's the problem, and this is what I came to realize about myself. When you grow up with doubt in terms of your placement with your family, meaning my mother and my father. Um, my grandmother gave me all that she could. She gave me all the love that she could give me, but she couldn't be my mom or my dad, you know? And growing up, getting older as a girl, you really need your dad, right? I kind of feel like some of the things I saw my dad do is what contributed to the things that I accepted. Um, and that's part of the mistakes that I made, as a young adult dealing with men. I saw myself gravitating to people that did things that I saw my father do,
mm,
towards my mom growing up. And I had to work through that,
mm.
and my grandmother was there to be like, "Girl, you messing up. Girl, you letting this person take advantage of you. Girl, you being
And,
too
and I guess you
nice."
thought she didn't know what she was talking about because she was older.
I felt like she didn't know what she was talking about. I did. I felt like, you don't really know what you're talking about. You don't understand. But she sat there and probably saw it. She raised her kids. She raised her two sisters. She even raised some of her sister's kids. So male and female. So she's seen it
Yeah,
and she's gone through it. But at the time, I just felt
because
like
grandma was
she
born. She
doesn't
was
know.
born like
1924.
yeah, wow.
And
So
we're talking about 2004, 2005, 2006 now. Like, come on.
come on.
Come on. You have seen a lot since
Yeah, I
1924,
mean,
you
looking back on
know?
it now, our parents would always say, "Nothing new under the sun," which basically means that hey, anything under the sun we don't seen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But you think
yeah.
because yeah, wow,
And this
no,
stuff doesn't change because even as, like, looking at our children and them growing up and teenagers, like, we saw stuff was crystal clear for us. But of course, they may not have seen it that way. But I feel like the difference is we knew when to say something about it and when not to. Because of course, when you say something negative about a person that somebody likes, that draws them even closer instead of
facts.
making them hone in and pay attention.
Yeah, no,
So
no doubt. No.
yeah.
Now you talked about how your dad was very important in your growth, and so there was a point that once you told me that you and your dad was estranged.
Oh yes. Yeah. And I can't even say that it was my doing. I think that it definitely was my grandmother's. Doing and possibly what I remembered from my mom too. But it just got to the point where I felt like I don't want you to be around sometimes. I want you to be around all the time. And if you can't be around all the time, don't come around for the monumentous stuff. Like,
Mm,
I'm graduating. Why are you here? If I haven't talked to you in like 2, 3 years, why are you here? Well, of course, because my grandmother told you that I'm graduating. You know what I mean? So you come, or maybe even I might have called and said, "Hey, Dad, I'm graduating," and he comes, but then that's not enough. I
Mm.
felt like every time he came, then it was like he was being pulled away from me. So it just came to a point where it was just like, okay, I'm done for now because I don't like how this feels. So yeah, I went. I think last time I saw him was high school graduation.
Now you talking about on your timeline, not the last time you saw him, like, in life. You just talking about just
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. At
yeah.
that time, yeah, the last time I had saw him was high. No, he came to my college graduation. He did come to my when I
So
graduated college the first
so
time.
what's that like? 'Cause I see kids, like, when this parent shows up that you is that a weird feeling when that parent shows up that hasn't been involved?
I'll be honest with you, I was happy to see him.
Okay.
So it's like the feelings that I had went away. They come afterwards. Like
Like, when they're
after
gone
everything
again?
gets quiet and the graduation ceremony is over, that's then when you start to kind of reflect and just you start getting angry,
So
you
any
know.
feelings that kids have, I'm assuming because I wasn't in this position, so I'm just kind of asking.
Mhm.
Like, I'm guessing that's on the parents. So the parents probably drum up some of the hate unknowingly, probably, but they're probably upset that you're hurting because dad or mom, whoever is not around. So
Yeah.
right, so
Mhm.
is that kind of where some of the anger came from?
Yeah, it is, and I believe that my grandmother, held on to that, like, she felt that, and so in order to protect me, I'm almost positive she probably told him, "Don't, don't come around." I think she might have played a part in him not being around, but I also still felt like as my father, you shouldn't let anybody keep you from me,
Yeah,
you know,
facts.
regardless, you know. But I, if I can go
Yeah,
backwards a little
yeah.
bit,
Let's go back.
there was a time when so my grandmother was very protective of me, but even more so once I got sick one time. I got food poisoning and basically wound up having to have an emergency appendectomy. Took me to the hospital. They noticed what it was. They was like, "Oh, it's her appendix. We got to hurry up and get it out." And then they came to realize that she wasn't my mother and she wasn't my legal guardian. So they wouldn't operate on me. They said they had to speak to my mother. So, of course, my mother at the time, there was, some drug issues. And so we couldn't get in contact with her. Um, Tried to get in contact with my father, couldn't get in contact with him. Long story short, I can tell it now because my grandmother's passed and it's so old now. I don't even think the hospital is even functioning now. But she called a friend and just said, "Hey, I'm getting ready to call you. You need to act like my daughter. You need to act like you're frantic, so that they can go ahead and just do this operation." So she did that. The friend got an Oscar award pretty much for it. They did, from what I hear, they did very well. And the crazy thing is when the doctor took my appendix out, they take it out and they have to put it like in this petri dish or whatever that they have to put it in. In the midst of once he took it out, in the midst of transferring it from over my body to the dish that it had to sit in, it burst. And so basically, anybody that knows anything about appendix and if it bursts, it's a whole bunch of toxins. So if that would have burst inside me, I would have been dead within 5 minutes. Like it's like instantaneously. So that hit home for her, and that's when she said, I've got to get legal guardianship of this child so that this never happens again, that I can make decisions for her because I can't count on these two to be available.
So now you're in a custody situation now. So you got grandma trying to get custody of you. So what was that like?
Um, I was young at the time, so I think it was a little confusing, but I was old enough to understand that my parents weren't around like they needed to be. So I wanted her to have custody of me because she had been taking such good care of me. But I did want to be in that courtroom and see my mother and my father, at least there, putting up a fight. My mother did not come at all. So I think at that time I wrote her off like, nah, lady, you got some splaining to do. My father did show up, but from my recollection, and I say my recollection because my father and I are very close now, and I'm sure he's going to see this. From my recollection, he did not put up a fight. He basically was like, yeah, she can take care of her. give her the guardianship. Um, and so I carried that as a child that basically nobody wants me but my grandmother.
Because here's the weird thing. I'm listening to you talk about how I wanted my parents to show up, but I wanted to live with my grandma.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's so it's funny how both of these two things can exist together. Like I love my parents, and I want to see them fight for me, and I want them to come by and see me every now and then. But I want to stay with my grandma. Like you knew even as a child, this was
Mhm.
my safe place.
Yeah, and I knew as a child that my father did not want to have custody of me. I knew that. He
Mm,
was still living his life. At least he was coming around, but when it was convenient for him, but he was living his life. And taking on a child was definitely going to disrupt,
Yeah. I think
what
that's
he was
why
trying to do.
people always think that everyone should want to have kids. But I have friends, one of my someone that I consider a friend, Jacob, and he just made it clear years ago, I don't want kids. And
Mhm.
anybody that Coop, Taylor, people like that, and they say they don't want kids, I actually respect them because there's
Yeah.
people out there that are having kids or doing kid making activities
Mhm.
without any protection. And then when kids get here, and it's like everyone's supposed to be joyous that we have these kids, but some people don't need to have kids.
Mhm.
Like they need to be saying that they don't want to have kids. So shout out to you because even as a young person, you realize like my dad, he's really not trying to be a real dad. I mean, he doesn't mind, I guess, picking me up every now and then, maybe or seeing
Mhm.
me, but he's
Mhm.
not really trying to deal with the everyday ramifications of raising a child.
Yeah.
And that's how it is with young parents.
Mhm.
Sometimes, I mean, when you're a young parent, I mean, you still outside. I mean, I mean, we laughing about it, but even me, I was a young parent at was I 22? Oh
Mhm.
man, please, so I was trying to be a dad and be outside at the same time, and it's just
Yeah.
it's not possible.
No, it's
Yeah.
not. It's not. And I mean, I held something for a long time against them. Still loved them, but you know, uh, you have this saying that we're commanded to love, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I like you. And in that, I love them because that's my mom, that's my dad, and even though I'm hurt and confused, I still love them. So when they came around, I was happy. But when they left, it was like doom and gloom again because I didn't know when they would be back. Um,
Mm,
so I was happy that once I became an adult, I definitely tried to have this conversation with the both of them. Things went a lot smoother with dad.
mm,
Dad took accountability of any and all mistakes that he made. I even told him about my trials and tribulations dating and with men. And, he just sat there and apologized profusely because he was like, yeah, those are things that I did that your mom, put up with me and it was wrong. I would have never wanted anybody to treat you the way that, I was acting, at that time. And he fully apologized. He took ownership of it. Although the mistakes, like I did allow it, but people don't realize that sometimes the things that your children see, they say, I don't want to be like that person. But if that's all that you saw, you kind of wind up doing it, or you kind of wind up accepting certain things because it kind of was imprinted on you without you even knowing. So somebody else looking at things would say, that's not right if that person is fighting with that man or that woman or talking down to that man or that woman or whatever, or cheating or whatever. But if that's all that you saw, it's not right. But then when you're the person in the situation,
mm.
you're more accepting of it because
Uh,
it's familiar.
Yeah, because here's my thing.
It's familiar trauma.
Oh, it's familiar trauma.
Mhm.
Oh wow, you over there cooking. Um, because you say it's not right, but I don't know. I mean, like, being raised up even in my household. I mean, you see things, and I guess you think they're not right, but then when you get in that same similar situation,
Mhm.
you tend to duplicate, the way you
What you
saw
see.
it handled.
Mhm.
So maybe you think, yeah, I guess this is not right, but it's gonna be okay because this is this is normal behavior. And yeah, so I don't know, man. Yeah. So listen, you talked about something as far as accountability. And that seems to be the case. And I don't want to put all mothers in this box, but it seems like moms have a harder time accepting accountability more so than dads. Like dads
Yeah.
can seemingly just, well, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's not all dads. Someone watching this may be like, not my dad, but like, I think that from what I've seen, it seems like women because they feel like I'm mom, so basically I don't have to. I don't know. It's just women, mothers in particular, seem like they have a harder time owning the trauma they've caused their children. Whereas with dads, they seem like they tend to own it, a little bit easier than mothers. But I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe that's not true. But
All I know is that moms, and I mean, I am one, so I totally get it. But moms, they get it's almost like they're the
they
exception,
get a pass.
right? Yeah, they get a pass. You know, where when if dad does something, oh, we coming down on dad. But if mom does something, oh, she's trying her best, or I'm sure she didn't mean it that way,
Mhm.
and things like that. So I think because moms are coddled, or we make excuses,
Mhm.
we will come up with more excuses for mom than we will for dad. And maybe it's
Mm.
because mom is very nurturing, like that's the person who has you when you're a baby, that's who you're around most of the time, because dad is out working, doing stuff. Maybe mom is working too, but still she's like, just she feels like it's her job to take care of you, so we give mom more of an out than dad. But here's the problem: we do that when we're young. Once we get older, mom don't get no pass. Like, we're like, "Mom, cut the S. Like, for real. This is what you did, and this is how it made me feel, and let's talk about it?" And so that was my rendition, with my mom. I tried several times, and then when the tears start flowing and stuff like that, I think at first it made me feel bad, like, "Oh my gosh, I'm upsetting my mom." But I had to remember, think about how long you was upset. Think how long you were lost. Think how
Mm.
long you blamed yourself. And now that you're an adult, you come to realize that you weren't the problem. But all these years, you blamed yourself for the reason why your mom and dad aren't together, or the reason why your mom and dad don't come around. And now you can see a clearer picture because you're looking inside the box instead of being in the box trying to look out. So now you have a better perspective, and you realize that they did this. They hurt me, and they need to know how that made me feel. It doesn't mean that I don't love you. I love you less because of it. If I'm talking to you about it, it's because I love you that much. I
Mm.
respect you that much. If people are out here and they've got a child that they've, disappointed, and the child is not telling you how they feel, the respect is not there.
Mm.
And so that is one thing, regardless to my mom and her, drug addiction, my dad and his womanizing. I was still told to, my grandmother still said, you have to respect your parents and continue to try to see the good in them until you can better discern how you're truly feeling. And
Y
so I finally got through to my mom. It wasn't as great as it was with my dad. We're eye to eye on stuff. With my mom, she still likes to play victim sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's just something about from what I've seen with mothers where
Mhm.
they really some of them really wanna be the victim.
Yeah.
And it's hard for them and think about it, say society, women just women get a pass, mothers get a pass.
Mhm.
But like I say, dads, oh man. And which I think it works out good for us because we're able to grow. And I
Yeah.
think some some women and mothers may not be able to grow because they're
Mhm.
not being held accountable. Um, 'Cause I was with someone recently, and they were like just talking about how much how they try to go see their mom every chance they get. In my mind, I was like, you know, that's cool, but it's like, parents have a job to do too. Like this notion that just because someone's your mom, that you just show up for that person, nah, we're done with that. Like
Yeah.
we live in a different era now. Like, kids are are really dealing with their mental health first
Mhm.
because sometimes you can go around mom or dad and it's just it triggers, a lot of things within you because they have not dealt with their trauma and the things that they saw growing up, and they feel like, oh, I still got to go see my mom all the time. You should always come see me too because I'm your mom. It's more than that. You have to do.
Yeah.
It's going to take more than that, man. And you're going to have to deal with your trauma. 'Cause I think that because I know we talked a lot about therapy, right? So
Hmm.
you you were in therapy for a
Oh
lot of your
yeah.
childhood.
I was in therapy since I was 7 years old, seven
Wow.
to 21.
Yeah.
When I actually no, sorry, 7 to 17 because I went away to school. I went away to school. I went to college at 17. And then I started back up 18 and did because I came back home. And so I did 18 to 21 back in therapy with the same therapist.
So let me ask you this,
Hmm.
because I do believe that people go to therapy to deal with people who won't go to therapy.
Hmm.
Um, and so did the therapy help you get past, like, well, because I don't think it helps you just get past it. It helps you, does it help you deal with it? Like, what did therapy do for you in that situation?
It helps you, for me, it helped me deal with it. It helped me realize that I'm not the problem, that sometimes people have their own things that's going on and they don't know how to deal with it. So because they don't know how to deal with it, just like a child acts out, adults act out.
Mm,
They just don't fall out on the floor and have a tantrum like a child
yeah.
will, but instead they'll do things that they know will strike a chord with one another.
So like crying.
Yeah, crying, yeah, and that's another thing that I learned about myself in therapy. I remember the therapist was like, "You know what? You when you were younger, you used to cry a lot. You were very emotional, and I'm noticing now that your eyes will get a little watered, but tears don't drop." And I told her, I said, "Because I'm tired. I'm tired of hurting, and I'm tired of coming up with excuses for people. So because of that, I'm trying to cut my emotions off about certain things." And that was actually hurting me because how can you heal if you're cutting your emotions off? If you know that you love somebody, how do you just cut yourself off and say, I don't love this person?
Mm.
Or I care about this person and they're hurting me. Oh, well, now I don't care. It was a defense mechanism.
No, I love that though, because I don't think parents always understand that if your children are coming to you about certain things, that means they still care enough about the relationship.
Hmm.
They get to a point that they're just like, okay, I mean, I'm good. I'm just gonna move on. Like they're checking out. Like
Yeah.
so, anytime someone says, "Oh, I love that guy. Because he's my brother,"
Hmm.
or "I love her because she's my sister," or "I love this person because they're my dad or my mom." Yeah,
That's the only reason why you
that's the
love
only
them.
reason that they love you.
Yep.
It's nothing else there. Like they only love you because they have to love you.
Yep.
They don't
Because
have
we're
anything
commanded to
else.
love you.
They don't have anything
Yeah.
else positive to say about you. So,
Mhm.
wow, yeah. So I know we had to go back for a second, but we're gonna get back to Augusta here. Um, so now you're living in Augusta. You're taking care of grandma. And grandma lived a long time. So what was life like? With dealing with grandma. I don't want to use the label, not dealing, but
Mhm.
taking care of grandma. And now you're working and you're dating, and like, what was life like moving forward? Now that you got settled in Augusta.
Life raising my grandmother
Yeah.
and trying to date and working and everything. It was actually good. Like my grandmother was like my guardian angel. Um, my grandmother did. My grandmother would always make if we're going out, she would have them the guy has to come pick me up. Right. Now, mind you, this is like a 5'1" lady. I'm 5'11", she's about 5'1", and, if I'm 5'11", whoever I'm talking to, they're tall. So, but she was like, "They have to come to the house." I thought that was corny because 'cause I'm just the type of person, I wanna just meet you there. I don't have to be in your car because I wanna be able to leave when I'm ready to leave. Because if this don't work out, I'm calling the other dude that's on standby. "Where you at?" "Okay, yeah, I'm coming to the restaurant." But, but it was interesting because, like, they would come up and she would, "You seem like you all right, da, da, da. Okay, go wait for her in the car." And then I'm getting ready to leave and she's like, "I don't like him." And I'm like, "But I'm about to like go to dinner, eat, come back. I don't like him." He's not good for you." And I'm like, "Okay, all right." So we go eat. I come right back because, of course, they're gonna bring me right back. And then, the next day, she's like, "Yeah, so let me check my email. Yeah, I did a background check. Did you know this about him? And did you know that?" And I'm like, "Dang, how'd you do all that?" But she was looking out for me. So as annoying as I'm sure I found it, I appreciated it because I think she was trying to be dad and couldn't be dad, but who doesn't, for most cases, who doesn't respect grandma,
Oh yeah, for sure.
right? So it was like the next best thing. And so she was trying to make sure that I didn't make any mistakes. And of course, everybody that she said she didn't like or there was something about them, she was right. She was right. That wasn't it. But I couldn't see it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's funny how the older you get, you can see certain things that,
Hmm. A
that
mile away.
you can see it coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to grandma. So I know you talked about how you lost grandma in 2008.
Yeah.
But before she passed though, she did from what you told me, she did have one guy that you met that she thought was pretty cool.
Oh gosh, yeah, she did. She even joked about how she was gonna take him from me. So and I thought it was funny because one day I came home from work and she's not home. And I'm like, where's she at? I call her and she's like, "Oh yeah, we're at the Olive Garden eating lunch. I've got to call you back." And hung up on me. Like didn't even wait for me to be like, "Okay, I'm coming," or anything like that. But I thought that was I thought that it was good though because she never liked anybody. So for her to like this person and actually go to her favorite restaurant with this person, I was like, okay, he's good. This one may be safe. I might be okay here, with him. And so yeah, I was after that I was very excited because it was like, okay, cool.
Mm.
Somebody got her approval. Let's see
Wow,
where this goes.
wow.
Hmm.
So what happened with you and this guy?
Um, well, we dated, we got engaged, and we got married.
Shout out to him.
I mean,
He,
I wouldn't have been able to marry nobody else because my grandmother passed in '08. So I needed her. She had to give me the sign of approval. Like I probably wouldn't have been married if she didn't like this particular fellow.
yeah,
Yeah.
shout out to grandma. Grandma's got good taste.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think she does.
Like crazy. So no, so now so grandma passed, you get married what a couple years after that?
Yes, 2010.
Yeah. So now so you didn't have any kids and so you
No.
you married this guy and he had kids, right?
Yes. Hmm.
Yeah. So what was that like, as a stepmom?
That was an adventure. Y'all saw how big my eyes got, like, it was an adventure, because, of course, when trying to blend a family and I mean, I didn't really have any family to blend besides my mother, like, that's who I'm bringing into the situation, but trying to blend a family, it's hard, but my thing is my grandmother stepped up for me and filled a void for me, whatever that void was, at that time, and so I just felt like I could do the same. I'm not trying to be anyone's mother. I'm not trying to take the place, but who can't use another person in their life that loves them and is looking out for them too? And so that's the way I looked at it. I'm just another person adding, to this pre-made family, so to speak. And I just loved it like as if it was my own, as if I created it
Yeah.
from scratch,
Yeah, no,
you know?
no, shout out to you, man. So you had life as a stepmom, and then you had life as a birth mom.
Yeah,
And so what was that like?
that was awesome. And I almost feel like, kinda like a miracle maybe because I had been on birth control for so long, and so we only we only had really one opportunity because my husband's driving trucks, he came home one weekend, And I was like, "Hey, I didn't take my pills anymore once my cycle was over, so you wanna try?" And it was that weekend, and I got pregnant, found out I was pregnant, and as things go along, the baby is staying, I'm not losing it, the birth control isn't doing its job that's still in my system, and, now we have a 13-year-old son to add to, to the mix with our girls.
Yeah, no, shout
Yeah.
out to you, man. Because I know because we it's me. So,
Yeah, it's him.
so
He's
we
the dude.
so we had this conversation. It's funny, like that was I had got 3 kids, but Donald was the only child that was planned.
Mhm.
Um, like, hey, we're gonna have a child, one child. We're gonna give this 1 year to try to get pregnant. We don't get pregnant, and we're gonna just focus
Yeah,
on
be fine with the 2
business and
girls,
other
yep.
aspirations. Like,
Mhm.
and shout out to you, man. Like we sat down, we had this conversation, we both agreed on it, and it just happened right away. It just immediately. I was like, wow. Now I thought that was pretty cool, man. So so
Yeah,
so now we have the son, 2 daughters, and like you just because you've always seemingly been about family. Like you've since I first met you, like it's from what I could see. And can you speak to that? Like you seem like you was always
yeah.
about family.
Yeah, no, I was an only child, so I always said, "I'm gonna have 6 kids, a dog, the house, white picket fence," like, that was the dream, I'm gonna have 6 kids, and of which 2 of them were gonna be twins, 'kay? I don't know if it's gonna be boy, and girl, or boy, girl, I don't know, but I was gonna have a set of twins too, so I had a plan. That didn't work out that way. But I felt blessed to fall in love with a man that had 2 children already, right? 2 girls at that. And so, of course, I was hopeful when we did have a child that I was hoping it would be an opposite sex so nobody felt like their position was, you know, um, in jeopardy. So that was good that we wound up having a boy. And I just feel like it completed me. I thought I wanted 6 children, but honestly, all I really needed was 2, and us having a child together was a bonus. That's truly how I feel. That was a bonus. That was the period at the end of the sentence.
Mhm.
And I feel like that completed it for me. This is my family.
Yeah. Yeah, shout out to you, man. Just always had and I think, we had conversations before, like, about, like, your sense of family, and you talked about how, even when I was, uh, in and out of court trying to get custody of the kids of the girls, you were like, "Man, I wish that my dad." Because I know we talked back, to the court hearing with your dad, and like, your dad didn't fight. Your mama didn't show up, and your dad didn't fight.
Mhm.
And to see a man fight for custody of his kids,
Yeah.
I know we talked about it in the past. It just seemed to have, you know, um, really, I don't want to say inspired you, but it seemed to really make that seemed to be something that you would have wanted someone to do for you.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't want somebody to fight for them? Especially if it's a mother or a father, right? So to see that in action and seeing in you what I would have liked to have seen and been able to feel as a child, knowing that my parent is, or even parents are fighting to keep me, to have me, it would have been life-changing, but at the same time, I wouldn't be the woman that I am today
Mm,
if that happened, you know? So because it didn't happen for me, I was able
mhm.
to throw myself into the situation of it happening for our girls and knowing that I need to secure my position to be able to be your backbone, to help you stand up in this hard time because it wasn't guaranteed if you would, win the custody or not. But at least I knew that those girls would be able to know my dad stood 10 toes down and was trying to get me, even if you didn't. And you did. So that's a plus.
Yeah, no, shout out to you, man, because you're right. There are no guarantees. But I think that, the guarantee for me at that time was I'm guaranteed to fight. So
Oh
whatever
yeah.
else happens, is what happens. But I think that, I think having your unique experience as a child apparently played a huge role in you understanding the situation. 'Cause let's just say that was not your situation as a child. You had a
Mhm.
present mom and dad. You may not have been as empathetic to the situation,
Mhm. That's
possibly. I don't
true.
know, because maybe
Yeah.
you can't relate to it, right?
Mhm.
But you
Mhm.
being able to relate to it, relatability is, I think that's always been a big thing in life, like
Yeah.
people that can relate to you, and um, you related to the situation, and just seemed like you always had compassion
Mhm.
for the whole situation, in a way that I don't think, had you not had that experience, as a
Mhm.
child, I don't think that you may not have understood it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So shout out to you for that. So
Thank you.
yeah, so going through all of that, now, because I talked to you, as far as you being the COO or family financial consultants, like,
Mhm.
how do you go from a W-2 your whole life to getting into entrepreneurship?
Uh, it was scary.
Like God did.
God did. Okay. He really did, because it was scary, because all that I ever knew was, you know, you show up to work, you got your hours. You do your hours, you get your paycheck. Whether I did my job to the 100% capacity or 50% capacity, I was still going to get paid. Same thing. Like, it was guaranteed. Yeah, I'm going to get paid this because that's my hourly rate. And to switch over to entrepreneurship, where it's really on you. If you're not putting the blood, sweat, and tears in, especially in the beginning, you're not going to reap the benefits, of success within your business. So that was scary, and but doing that, it makes it all worthwhile, right? Because I never thought that I could be an entrepreneur. Not because there's something wrong with me. I just never thought that it was for me. I never thought of owning
Mm,
anything of my own. And you taught me this. There's entrepreneur, and then there's intrapreneur, right? And so I believe that I was more so an intrapreneur. I had no problem helping a business be successful, and playing my part. I didn't have to be at the front. But with entrepreneurship, it's you. You're the brand,
uh,
you know?
let me ask you something, man, because you just said something I think was very powerful. Because I've heard that before from people, where they'll say, "This isn't for me," and I truly, when people say that, I don't even think they understand what they're saying. So
Mhm.
when you're talking about entrepreneurship, like you were someone with degrees, someone that was educated. So I guess you probably would have even said that prior to this experience. Like you probably would have said, "Well, entrepreneurship is not for me." And people say that, I'm just like, what are we unpacking here? Ownership is not for you? Like, what are we talking about? Like,
Mhm.
sometimes you don't even know what's for you and what's not for you until you try it. So this
Yeah.
notion that this isn't for you, I always thought that was just weird. It's almost
Mhm.
like it's just like a lazy way of just, I don't really have an answer for why I'm not doing this.
So it's just
So I'm
not
just,
for
oh, it's just
me.
not for me.
Yeah.
Y-
I feel you on that, because the very first, like, when we started on the entrepreneurship, that was that time. But the very first time that I really thought about truly being an entrepreneur and doing something on my own was when I got my bachelor's in computer science with my minor in psychology. And I said, I want to help others like I was helped, psychologically wise, right? Not realizing that I could do so much more than just that, because I'm going to take on people's problems, right? So I really can't be a psychologist, because I'm going to bring everything home. I'm going to be trying to save everybody. But the other part of psychology that I learned, I got my degree somewhat to try to understand other people, but in turn, I was able to understand myself
Mm.
even deeper. And because of that, that then allowed me, understanding myself allowed me to then see how I can understand other people and truly hear out what they're saying and pick what they're really trying to say, and hone in on that. So when we decided to step out on faith, and let's go ahead and start this insurance agency, I said, "Okay, yep, this is this is why I got my degree in 2011 and got that psychology. Because now here's the true test. Because now it's a new me. I got to figure out how I'm feeling. Then it's my husband and him working, and then it's our children while we're still trying to build this empire. And then as we're adding on people, having to figure out them and what they're feeling. So it just kind of all went around, like came around twofold, I guess is what the saying is. And so you start to use things that you've learned in the past,
Mm,
to help build you and make you and keep you solid and firmly planted. If you didn't have these things, and that's why I say, like, I know I'm kind of all over the place, but that's why I say, like, I don't ever want to change anything that happened in my past because I've used everything from my past to build myself up and my family and those that are close to me, those that are willing to listen to me and testify and all that to be the better person, to be the person I am today. Without all of that, I'd be half of what I am. So I needed that pain. I needed that disappointment. I needed those successes. I needed those happy times. I needed the sad times. I needed the confusion. I needed all of that to now be what you see before you.
yeah, and I was just taking all that in. It's
I'm
just,
sorry.
no, you good. Because I don't think a lot of people reflect like that. Sometimes they say, "Well, I wish I would have gotten here sooner," or "I wish this didn't happen." But like, I mean, because even like, okay,
Mm,
entrepreneurship. So we're entrepreneurs, but at the same time, if I can say this, I mean, like, your psychology comes in handy a lot
yeah,
because when you're dealing with people, man, you better know how to hear what they're saying, hear what they're saying, but also know what they're really saying. A-
exactly.
And shout out to you, you definitely have the gift to be able to, get past what they're saying and get to what's really going on.
Mhm.
Um, and so, even though you're an entrepreneur, somebody might say, "Well, you didn't need to have a college degree to be an insurance agency owner." No, I think that it helps you be a lot more successful though
Mhm.
when the tendencies of people.
Yeah.
Um, that's why even me as a college dropout, I never would bash anyone that has college degrees because I think it can be very useful.
Mhm.
So shout out to you. Seems like everything that you've Matter of fact, I not even seem like. I mean, everything that you've learned in college, you've certainly applied it to business, and use it to elevate and help us scale. So shout out to you for that. And you talked about how, like, like it was a little different being an entrepreneur. So, and just you had to even change. So, as an employee, you get paid for showing up, but as an entrepreneur, you get paid for results. And
Yes.
I know you've talked in the past about like, me. I guess me coming to you saying, "Hey, it's going to be 5 years before we can take a paycheck." So, how did that? w- uh, how was that?
It's funny because even when you say it now, it takes me all the way back to then, and I'm like,
And
"I
listen, I
know
want to know if you remember
he
where did
lying."
we have this conversation at?
I don't remember where we had it
It
at.
was in the kitchen.
It was in our
It was in the
kitchen?
kitchen in front of the refrigerator.
Around the
You
knives?
was you was you were sitting down at the kitchen table doing something, and I said,
Okay.
I just me, I just had these thoughts come in my head, and I say, let's just talk about it real quick, and I just kind of got you by the refrigerator, and I was like, hey, Mykel. And I kind of grabbed you by both shoulders, like in a loving way. Hey, listen, we're going to be successful. It's just going to take about 5 years before we can take a paycheck. And you had this weird look on your face, but shout out to you, man. I mean, I don't know if you believed it or not, but
No, I definitely believed it. Like, you are not a man that wastes your words. So if you said that, I believed it. I think it made it a little bit easier though because you were still driving trucks. So in my mind, it's like I had a small panic attack. Like, what do you mean 3 to 5 years? But then the back end of it, I was like, "But girl, wait a minute. You still have money in your 401k, y'all have investments, and he still gets a paycheck. So instead of talking to you in front of this refrigerator, you need to go get back on that truck and make some money."
so let me ask you this then.
It's always good to have a cushion. It makes it
For sure.
easier.
Oh, for
It
sure.
makes it
For sure.
easier
For
to
sure.
deal with things.
The thing is, like when it comes to transitioning, like some people can't afford to take opportunities because
Mhm.
they, you know, they've squandered certain things, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, the opportunity for us to be where we are now, those seeds were planted long before, right?
Mhm.
Just in the way shout out to you. You've always had great habits with money.
Yeah.
Shout out to grandma. I know she clearly did a great job showing you how to manage money.
That she did.
Yeah, and
That
that's
she
and that's
did.
key, especially, I mean, I hear a lot of women seemingly not be as good with money from, just
Mhm.
from I'm not a woman, so but just from what I've heard. But it seems like with you, you are always really good with paying yourself, investing in, your 401k at the time, things of this nature.
Mhm.
But I want to ask you this too, like, when it comes to following, like, I've always said this about you: you're secure enough to lead, but I'm sorry, strong enough to lead, but secure enough to follow.
Mhm.
And so now, what was that like? I mean, like following, because you've always kind of been doing your own thing.
Oh my
You're
god,
raised by
yeah.
your grandma, who was,
Yeah,
she
she taught
wasn't
me to
married.
march by the beat of my own drum.
Yeah, well, clearly, I mean, it's
As you know, almost every day with me, I'm marching to a beat
yeah,
that
for
you're
sure.
like, "What are you doing?" But,
Yeah, like sometimes when you're strong enough to lead, and I'll be like, hey, I need you to kick in on the secure enough to follow part of that today.
yeah, nah, that's
Not today.
we're not doing that part today. No, but yeah, no, she taught me okay, here's the thing. So my grandmother was a really intense feminist, right? I used to always tell my
Mm.
grandmother, "I
Grandma,
swear
hold up.
you
Grandma was
were."
a feminist?
Yeah.
She didn't give me that kind of energy.
I mean, she was, I ain't trying to say she was playing you, but I mean, y'all went to dinner and you paid for it. No, matter of fact, she
But
paid for it, didn't she?
no, I paid for it.
Okay, yeah. So her favorite place is Olive Garden, and you paid for it. Mission
It's
accomplished.
Olive
She
Garden.
gon' you know, she gonna play.
It's a whole $20. I mean,
Hey, I mean, but it meant something to
yeah, for
her,
sure. No, I get it.
and that's the thing. She talked about it forever, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like that's my man, right?
Yeah, shut up,
We go
grandma.
together.
I played her too. I knew what I was trying to get, and one thing about me, everything is long term. So I was like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it was.
Yeah, but she
I
she
had strategy.
definitely taught me to be strong within myself. She always said, I don't ever want you don't be dependent upon a man unless he shows you proof that he is worthy of you being dependent upon him. That part, right? With this like it. And so, with that, of course, before meeting you, I didn't have people that,
So you hadn't had no
so
proofs.
oh, no, no, no. So I was like a squirrel. You know how squirrel gotta put money here, 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 putting these nuts all over the place. I had to stash money here, here, here. So that's just me. I mean, help to this day, I still have a bank account in New York. It's just I just have stuff just stuff all over the place. And she just taught me that you need to have a cushion. It does you don't what you're doing today, you might not want to be doing tomorrow. The person that you're with today, you may not want to you may not need to be there, if it's not a good situation. So you have to always be able to pivot. And the only way for you to pivot is to make sure that you keep your mind clear and you keep your money stacked.
Keep your mind clear and your money
Mind clear and
stacked.
your money stacked. Yeah, because if your mind's not clear, that man could you wind up giving the man the money. You wind up telling him where you buried all the money.
Buried all the money.
Well, where you
What's this?
hiding your money, you put it. So anyway, I digress. But yeah, so she told me, basically showed me the strength of being an independent woman, and you ain't got to be. Don't get me wrong with this independent with the neck and all that, but being able to take care of yourself. And the thing is, if you're able to take care of yourself, and then you get with a man that knows how to take care of himself too, then you all wind up taking care of each other,
Hmm.
and it makes sense. The scale is never tipped. It's always, if it's this way today, tomorrow is this way. Y'all are always constantly doing for each other, and there's nothing that y'all can't do together. Y'all are unstoppable. And so that's another reason why I said you were the only person that she liked. So it had to be something about you that God said you got to meet her in 2007. She passed in 2008. I got an okay from her. And so I took that on to see where we would go, and our relationship just flourished.
Yeah.
despite everything, you know?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I just, when I think about your makeup as a woman, like the strength and the resilience, and but at the same time, like a unwavering confidence in me as your husband. I was just like, man, like he was raised in an environment where very strong. Your
Mhm.
grandmother, and so I just, just speaking to where that strength comes from, which clearly came from grandma. Just like, hey, make sure you have your stuff together. You don't.
Yeah.
It seemed like you were always the kind of woman that was like, you don't want to. You want to want a man, not need him. So have your stuff together.
Yes. Yes. I want to want you. I don't want to have to need you. And a man shouldn't have to need a woman
Yeah,
either.
for sure.
That's vice versa. I just think that that's always important to be even, even keeled, because if you are in a relationship where you have to do everything,
Mm,
then you start to resent that person because it's almost like, well, when you gonna do something? When you gonna make a decision? When are you gonna help with this? And it shouldn't be a competition within a relationship, friendship, business, nothing. We should be putting in our part. If I'm more tech inclined, then Imma handle the tech part. And
mhm.
if you're more inclined on getting the point across or drawing up, a scheme, not a scheme, but like drafting up the way things need to be and whatnot, then yeah, I'll do my part to bring the technology in and we're working together. But it should never be one-sided. Business, relationship, personally, friendship, it shouldn't be,
Yeah, I like
you
that.
know?
That's one thing I do love about you. So you seem like the kind of woman that basically like you'll do whatever needs to be done. Like you don't
Mhm.
like have these gender
Oh gosh,
specific
no.
things. Like you're better with the drill than I am, right? I mean, I know how to
Mhm.
plug it up, but like you can just take that drill and just do all kind of stuff. I was like, man, it's
Now
like,
see, I'm laughing because you said you know how to plug it up, but my drill is cordless.
see, I don't even know that. See,
It's got a rechargeable battery, you know what I'm saying?
see,
It's a DeWalt, baby.
Yeah, see, yeah. So shout out to you.
No,
You
but
know,
that's grandma. She taught me how to do all that stuff, you know? She taught me how to hang pictures, hang curtains, change light switches, plugs. Because she was like, if you don't have a man, you have to know how to do these things. You get a house, how you gonna take care of your house?
mm,
You can pay somebody to do it, but it's so much cheaper if you know how to do it yourself. So I just was never scared to try something. And if I can't do it, then okay, yeah, then I'll pay somebody to do it.
so let me ask you this: is a woman that's always just doing everything on her own. Like when you got with me, was that scary? Like, because you said something about I guess like don't follow a man unless he shows you proof
Mhm.
that he can lead. And so, like, what was that process like?
In China, it wasn't scary at all. You like the Pied Piper. I was like, I'll go wherever you gonna go, sugar. Shoot. And you fine. Handling business. No, it was. It was a little intimidating at first as I got to know you, and I was like, "No, this dude's really the truth." Okay. Okay, like, I really don't have to do anything, but I think that's what made me wanna do stuff for you, because I didn't have to. Whereas in the past, I had to do these things,
Mhm.
I had
So
to.
stop right there because I think that that's something that women would appreciate. So
Mhm.
when you have to do it, then I guess resentment kicks in.
Most definitely.
Wow.
Yeah, it ain't no guess, it do. It
Okay.
kicked through that door, yes. You start resenting the person because you have to do these things, and it's something that you know is not gonna be reciprocated towards you.
Mm, mm. Okay. Yeah. So I hope guys are listening to this. Yeah. So wow. So now you're all in on following like me in the business, and I just like how did you find security within all of that?
To be honest, I was scared to death, but I believed in you, and I felt like you would not allow us to fall on our face at all. We had great communication. I think that that's something that people need to hone in on. Make sure that you are communicating. Make sure that you are talking about everything, not just the easy stuff, but even the difficult stuff, and be honest about it. You know what I mean? Like, don't be scared. When we were dating, you were driving trucks. I think you were way off somewhere. Um, and you sent me a letter.
Now, hold up, let's now we were not dating during that time. Are you talking about the letter?
Yes, I'm talking about the
We were
letter.
not dating.
What you mean we weren't
No,
dating?
we were dating in your
We weren't
mind.
maybe we weren't exclusive, but
We no,
we was
we
dating.
were it was going on. I mean, you wasn't my girl. I mean, but I was just saying, like I was outside back then, so it's like remember,
Okay. Yeah, you're right. You know what? Yeah, okay. Yeah, in my mind,
yeah,
we was going together. You're right. That was all me. But he sent me this letter and basically told me about myself. Basically, it was like, you need to stop blaming guys. Like you say, men are dogs and da da da. Da. But look at what the part that you played in it. Like you dealt with it. Almost like you must like dogs because that's what you're allowing to be around you. Like that's what you're choosing.
dog pound.
Yeah, and I was just kind of like, who and what? And then like, what type of thing is this to send somebody? Like, why he didn't call me and say this? And I understand why. When you call and tell somebody something, they have the ability to tune you out, to cut you off,
Mhm.
to mute you, to hang up on you, right? They have the opportunity to stop you in the middle of what you're saying. But when you write, and I mean, it's written, it wasn't an email, it's his handwriting, okay? And you're telling me this, I have no choice but to continue reading and digesting what you have to say. I don't have to like it, but at the end, I respected it. Because I was like, you know what? He called himself liking me. He knows I like him, but then he sends me something like this. This definitely must be somebody that cares
Yeah,
about me. He's not trying to hurt me. He's trying to make me be better. And honestly, everything he said, I knew. I knew he was right. I just didn't want to hear it. I was lying to myself. So, with that being said, I trusted you. I believed in you. If you told me we could do something, we could do it. We weren't even dating when I was like, "Hey, you said you wanted to have your own fleet." And I was like, "Well, I'll be your dispatcher." We wasn't even now. I remember that we wasn't even dating. We was just talking. And I'm already trying to go into business with this dude in 2007. And then we actually go into business in 2018.
yeah,
Like, that's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. Shout out to you, man.
That's crazy.
And so basically, you're saying like you're the kind of person that likes communication. I think most women, I
Mhm.
guess, want to communicate. And so, so we have that moment with the letter,
Mhm.
and I'm assuming as a woman that really was something that stuck with you.
Yeah,
Um,
it
s-
did.
so as a woman, communication, honesty. I know we talk about a lot about transparency.
Mhm.
So those things are big for you as a female.
Yeah, for me. I'm not sure if all females is big, but for me, it's big because I didn't have that in past relationships. I think it's always easier to lie to somebody or just not say anything and let them believe whatever it is that they believe. But that's how people's feelings get hurt. That's how things escalate at times. And you don't say nothing. People
What do
think
you
it's
mean things
certain.
escalate?
Well, people have attacked people, because
Okay.
they thought we was together, but the person wasn't interested in them.
Kind of like
You
when
know,
I
they
sent you that
writing
letter.
people letters and they don't realize we go together already. Who are you talking to? They go to New York. You
Yeah,
see
yeah,
that? Who
yeah.
you
I heard
talking
it.
to? Son? You know. So but no, that's serious though, because people nowadays, especially because people don't know how to deal with their feelings, they go to physical. They go to extremes. Road rage is on a rampage. You know what I'm saying? So people don't know how to deal with their feelings, but I think it's because they're not communicating. People don't communicate anymore. They what they call them Twitter fingers.
Mm,
They go on social media and say how they feel about stuff instead of talking to the person.
wow. So let me ask you this: like, so what else do you want people to know about, like, you as a person? Whether it's business, personally, like, what else? What else is it to Mykel though? Man, it's so much. I mean, but
Yeah, it is because I have a big wall up. A lot of people think that they know me and they don't. Um, I think because of so many years me trying to mask how I truly felt, trying to protect myself from acknowledging hurt or disappointment, you develop a mask. And the thing is, the mask is me, you know? The mask is me, but at the same time, it's like, well, what's behind the mask? And I think people don't know what's behind the mask. People, I'm sorry, you put up a mask, and the thing is, the mask, like I said, the mask is you, right? But at the same time, what's behind the mask? And I think that's what people try to hide, right? Because if you don't know me, then you don't know how to disappoint me. If I'm not the friend that you are, if I'm not as open as you are, then you can't hurt me. And I think that's still, I definitely would say that I am healed in certain areas, but there are still areas that I still have to heal. And it's just going to take a little longer, you know? Um, I'm not scared for people to know me, but I'm scared to let people in. That's what that is, because I don't want to be disappointed. I feel like I was disappointed by my mom, my dad. They're in my life and I love them now, but it's like I still don't forget the disappointment. So you forgive, but you don't forget. And I'm big on that because I have to
Mm,
forgive them for me, not for them. I have to forgive them for me so that I can continue to be the best me that I can be despite them and what they have
mm.
done in the past.
Yeah, shout out to you. So you start talking about letting people in because I kind of found out you're super friendly,
Mhm.
but you don't have a lot of friends.
No.
So what is that like? So is that still childhood, like not letting people in, or or just because you was the only child, you just used to kind of being by yourself?
I think it's a mixture. I mean, I have been able to come to the full realization and acknowledge the fact that I'm very friendly. I'm just not the best friend, um, because I close up. I open up as if we're around each other and, "Oh, everything is great," because we're actively participating in things. But when we're not actively participating, it doesn't mean that I don't think about you or I don't care about you or I don't want to be around you. I just don't think to call you.
You seem like you compartmentalize things though. Like when
I do.
y'all out, but then when you go home, you start thinking about other stuff. Like you don't forget all about that person.
I'll be honest. I think
Mhm.
that is true. There's some truth to that because, and it's not to say anything negative about the person.
Right.
I think I'm just the type of person that when I'm actively doing something, it's all about that. And then for me, when I get home, it's all about my family. If they're home, if the girls are home, it's it was all about them. If our son is home, you're home, it's all about you. And I don't, yeah, we had a great night, but I don't want to talk about it tonight. Let's talk about it tomorrow or something like that. Cause now I'm in wife mommy mode. I was in girlfriend mode when I was out with you, or sister mode when I was out with you all, my sisters. But now that I'm in the house, now I've got a different hat on and I've got a different concentration. And I don't know how to mix the two. Like it will irritate me if you call me and I'm in the middle of doing something that is on a separate subject than that. I'm
Yeah.
serious.
But no, I know. Listen, I already know you
Yeah,
serious. I know you. So.
I'll be like, why are you calling? Like, I'm doing this. I'm at work. Call me after 5, you know? Why are you calling now and it's work hours? You're not work.
Yeah, but you're just such a giving person,
I am though.
and I guess that comes from grandma,
Yeah,
right?
it is. Grandma was the glue that kept the family together. And I'm sure that I was supposed to continue that once she passed.
Wow,
I'm sure I was. She was the glue and I'm the dollar store tape.
you the dollar store.
Yeah. 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 My glue ain't sticking like
Your glue
hers,
ain't
So yeah. Mhm.
and we laughing about this, man. But it's, I mean, shout out to your cousins, man. Like they're like sisters, man.
Oh gosh,
Yeah, I
yes.
love
And my
all of them.
cousins understand me. Shout out to them for real. Zakia, Munira, Hanifa, they understand me.
Yeah,
They understand that I'm the cousin. I love you to death. You're just not gonna hear from me all the time. You probably gonna have to call me. And I think that's the only child syndrome part of me that I'm okay by myself. I'm actually okay. I'm even better when I've got good people around me. But if I don't have anybody around me, I'm comfortable in my own company. Like I'm straight.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's good.
But it's
Um,
lonely.
oh, is it?
Yeah, it is.
So
I
you
can admit that
you like
now.
to have more friends?
I would like to have friends. Well, I feel like I do. I have a few friends that they have very busy lives too, so we get each other. We might talk every other month, you know, and it's not a problem. Nobody brings up the last time we spoke.
Mm.
It's the ones that bring up
Yeah,
the last.
it's
Oh,
not.
you
Yeah.
calling me now? Oh, well, you know what? Sorry, wrong number. Click. No, I didn't call you. That wasn't me. But it's your phone. Yeah, no, wrong number. I didn't mean to call you. I was meant to call somebody else.
Wow.
And I need to check that attitude. I have an attitude. I do. And I know it. But see, these are the things that people don't know. They think Mykel is, oh, she's lollipops and gumdrops and, you know, but I'm not. I'm
Yeah,
really not. I'm sweet. But I'm
you
like a Sour Patch Kid. Sour Patch Kid commercials, first they're sweet, then they're sour. That's me. And I can acknowledge it. Does it need to be worked on? I feel like it does need to be tweaked. But I actually like who I
I
am.
don't think you wanna tweak it. I haven't seen
I
any
feel like it
desire to
should be
tweak. You may
tweaked.
feel like it should be, but I don't
But
think.
am I gonna do it?
Yeah,
Probably not.
exactly.
Yeah, you're right. Never mind. Scratch that. Scratch that.
Yeah. So, shout out to you too, because I see you also mentor some young ladies. I don't know how much you want to get into that. So, I mean, so I know that's another facet of you, mentorship.
Yeah,
And how does that? Because I feel like that probably does something for you as well, right?
it really does. It does. I feel like there's growth on both ends, right? Because you have to be able to maybe like internalize certain situations for others because they're coming to you for mentorship. So that kind of makes you search within yourself to a time where you can uh, possibly have been in the same situation or similar situation as them to be able to tell them, well, how you handled it. And to honestly tell them, like not tell them your fixed version of how you know, but like the raw version, like how you really handled it in the beginning,
Mm.
so don't make this mistake, um, and things like that. But I enjoy it. I really do enjoy the mentoring. It gives me purpose, and my main thing is that I want to empower people. I lived for so long feeling like I really didn't have a voice, or scared to use my voice
Mm.
and worried that people wouldn't see the value in what I have to say. Whereas now I don't care if you don't see the value or you don't catch it the first time. I'm gonna keep on talking.
Mm.
And eventually
Mm.
something's gonna stick with you.
Shout out to you. You definitely gonna keep talking. Uh,
I knew that was coming.
yeah, you
As soon as I
you
said that, I
set me
said,
up for
oh,
that.
he's gonna use that.
Come to BS. You knew it was coming. No, but listen,
Oh,
shout out to you,
gosh.
man. Listen, well, Michael, where can people find you on social media?
Oh, wow. Okay. So Facebook is Mykel Doe. TikTok and Snapchat is Mykel Doe. Instagram is Tell 'em Kel said it. And did I miss anyone? I'm not on Twitter. I don't do the twits.
In business,
Mm.
business, like where can they find Michael Doe, like the business owner? I think why you.
Snapchat.
What?
Well, I mean, I do have a LinkedIn, but I'm not really on it. So I don't want to say it. It's Mykel Doe on there too. If you want to see stuff from like 4 years ago, I need to do better with that too. My following is mostly on Facebook, Instagram. Oh, TikTok. TikTok is Tell 'em Kel said it too. I like to get my messaging through that, through those realms. I like LinkedIn business wise, but I'm really trying to touch are people younger than me. I mean, I'm 49.
Yeah.
But those that
Damn.
are younger than me, shut up. Those that are younger than me and my age group and older, I really want to touch all of them because we all have things that we still need to work on. And sometimes we just need that positive affirmation, that saying. You never know what somebody is going to hear or see one day that changes their mindset and changes their way of thinking, and then they start to value themselves because they see you valuing yourself and what you have to say. So, yeah, I'm more on the social media side.
Yeah. No, listen, man. Shout out to you, man. Thank you for sharing who you are. Which shout out to you, man. You've always somewhat been an open book, so I just appreciate you chopping it up and sharing. Um,
Thank you.
yeah, no, thank you. That's just gonna conclude the episode of Free Game Don D, Life, Family, and Business.